Welcome back to another episode of Ghoul Break My Ass with 1,000 questions in the Discord, but we're here to fix that. So in this one we are gonna be going over cells, everything about them, and of course we are gonna be keeping a new player friendly approach. So let's get straight into it. So cells are the stuff that go over here. Before we get into it, guys, ignore the cell slot. Pretend as if it is not there. This is unrelated. This is a cell, but it is not. Related to the cells we are going to be covering today. So ignore that. Just pretend as if there are 3 slots. For example, let's go over someone who doesn't have the 4th cell. As you can see, 3 slots over here, and it says unequipped. So yeah, pretend this is the norm, as this is going to be the case for you. So cells, what are they? Cells are basically the gear system of Ghoul Break My Ass. So we have 3 types of cells: attack, defense, and HP. It goes without saying, but attack provides the lowest amount of CP. Defense provides more CP than attack, and then lastly, HP provides the most CP out of all of them. And the reason because is the stats. The stats scale according to the mentioned stats, which is the HP, defense, and attack. So usually HP is in a large number, followed by defense and then attack. So that is why that is the order of CP that you will gain by putting these on. But apart from gaining CP, they are also important for another thing, that is the factors inside them. So you put them on, you gain CP, and you also gain the stats that go along with them. For example, over here we are gaining 64,000 HP on this Tara. So because of the cell, if I were to unequip that, look at the stats. As you can see, the HP is 96. When we put it on, it is increased by the amount that is mentioned over here. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Same goes for the defense, same goes for the attack. Obviously those two are gonna be in a lower quantity than the HP, and that is why the HP provides the most amount of CP. But yeah, with that out of the way, let's go over the factors. So what are the factors? Factors are this, as you can see, it says factor effect. So this particular cell has a factor of crit rate, attack, and attack. So those are the factors. It can be anything. Yes, you can get any factor on any cell regardless of the cell type, unless you get the cell from a casket, which is a box. So in that one, for example, you get a cell from a casket, it'll usually have HP related stuff, HP related factors on the HP related cell, and it will only have the attack related stuff on the attack cell. If you were to get them randomly, just by playing the game, then you can get any factor on any cell. It doesn't really matter. There are red factors. As you can see, this one is a red factor. This is the highest factor in the game. The more red factors the cell has, the better. So starting out, you are going to be having lower rarity cells. As you can see, these cells are lower rarity, and keep in mind the rating of the cells over here. As their rating increases, their rarity increases as well. As you can see, this one is 67, so it is a wow, okay, nice number. So it is a yellow cell, very low rarity. As we go higher, from in the 70s, you can see it is a blue cell. It becomes an SR cell basically, and then from 82 it remains the same, 84 remains the same, but when we jump to 88, it becomes a UR cell, a red one. So the one that that new player should be putting on are the UR cells, of course. The higher rarity, the better. Early on, you don't need to worry about too much. You just click one tap equip, and it'll automatically equip the best ones. Let me just showcase that for you. As you can see, it automatically equipped the highest rating ones. If you want a particular factor, you can go ahead and swap that according to your will. But that is pretty much for the basics. Now let's go over what happens when the cell reaches maximum rating. So that is the cell that we should be hoping for. So let's go over this Aito over here. So as you can see, this Aito has a 100 rated cell with full red factors. So one thing to note is that it is possible to get a cell which has a 100 rating but doesn't have all the factors. So let me go through my cells and see. Yeah, as you can see over here, this owl has a 100 rated cell. However, it does not have the factors. So why is that important? So when a cell And the opposite is also true as well. A cell can have full red factors and it can have low rating. So there's a very high very high combination possible with the cells. But the UR cells are not what we should be aiming for. What we should be aiming for is the rank 5 cells. So what is the difference between a like a normal UR cell and a ranked cell? So the ranked cell is going to be having a E mark over here. So as you can see, this one has E mark, which is 5, the symbol V. These will be in Roman numerals, so keep that in mind. It can be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and there is also a sixth one. Let me show you the sixth one. As you can see, 6 and 7 1 as well. So they are denoted by the Roman numerals. So these cells, as you can see, they don't have the Roman numerals, and this one does. And the way it is determined whether they will get the number or not, the rarity, is when they are full red factor and they are 100 rated cells. So basically they need to be 100 rated, and they also need to have full UR factors. So then you might ask, then how is it determined whether it is rank 1 or rank 2 or and so on? So that is determined by the factors themselves. So as you can see, this cell has 3 attack and 1 pen rate, and that is why it is rank 5. Basically it is an ideal cell. Let's go. I don't have any cells that are lower at the moment, do forgive me for that one, but I do have ones that are a little wanky. So as you can see, this one over here has 3 attack and 1 defense, so it's a little out of whack. Of course, keep in mind this is a defense cell, but it is better than having 3 bad factors, and that is why it is beyond 5. So it is this one's 6 because it has better factors. So basically what I'm trying to say is that when it has good factors, the rarity increases. Now, what determines whether it has a good factor or not? A very good example of that would be this cell over here. As you can see, when it has all of the same factors, you'll automatically get a rank 7 cell. These are very hard to come by, guys. Very hard to come by. Another example would be over here. As you can see, this LR cell. Obviously, this is not a good example because it's an LR cell, but just take it as an example. Pretend it's a normal cell, and it were to have all 4 HP factors, then of course it would be a rank 7 cell. So 7 is the highest you can get at as of this point. So yeah, all of the good factors, you get a higher rarity cell. So let's say you are just starting out, what should you do? Let's say you get a rank 1 cell. That's completely fine. I will go over how you get all the cells later on in the video, so don't worry about that. Let's say you get a rank 1 cell. It's okay, you can equip them on the unit for the time being. With that being said, just give me 1 second. I'm going to be swapping the accounts and showing you what that looks like. Alright, we are here on our free-to-play alt account. No, wait, no. Why am I calling it the alt account? We are on our free-to-play account. And this one is going to be far more easier to see the cells and whatnot. As you can see, I should have just I should have just started out with this account. I don't know what I was doing in that one. I do apologize for that one. So as you can see, full rank 4 cell, rank 5 cells over here. That is what we should aim for. But since this is a new account, we're obviously not gonna have rank 5 cells, so we make do with level 3 cells. And as you can see, level 3 cells, level 3, level 3, level 3. I mean rank 3, and then rank 2. So we just put in whatever we have at the moment, right? So rank 2 over here as well. Rank 1, rank 2. These and the reason why we do this is because these are obviously better than the normal red ones. As you can see, it is a day and night difference between them, right? So that is why we use them for the time being. You want to use any of them, rank 1 to rank 5. The higher the rank, the better. But don't get rid of these ones, right? These are very important. These are food cells. So someone who, if you don't know what those are, maybe consider watching the ability breakthrough video on the channel playlist as well. That will be highly helpful. But yeah, these are food cells. The cells which are rank 1 to rank 4 are food cells. I will go over why later on. But just know that they are food cells because I will be calling them that. So you will equip these food cells until you can replicate what this has been put on this Toka and this Hide and this Orochi on all of your units. When you are able to get rank 5 cells, like these ones on all of your units, then you can get rid of these ones. And by that I mean unequip them. Don't salvage, never salvage them, just unequip them. That is what you'll be aiming for. So the hierarchy will be: you first put these on, then you put these on, and then lastly you put these on. Now you might ask, well then when do I put on the big chungus ones? When do I get the rank 7 ones or the 6 ones? Well, those are extremely hard to come by. As you saw, even in my main account I only have one single set of those, so you can probably tell how rare those are, but I will be still going over how you can get them regardless. But yeah, with that being said, we have gone over how you should be equipping these cells. Again, just a quick summary. Rank 1 to rank 4 food cells, you can put them on when you don't have rank 5 cells, and when you have rank 5 cells, you aim to put them on everyone, including your first team, your second team. You put them on everyone, and then you can unequip the food cells. After that point, you can use the food cells for ability breakthrough. They can be used over here. Do not salvage them. I repeat, do not salvage the food cells. Alright, sorry for that delay. Now let us go over the factors. Oh wait, not the factors, the modifiers. So each one of the cells, as you can see, has not only the rank, the factors, they have one more thing apart from the stat itself, which is this. This is also mentioned right beneath the rating of the cell. I'm sure you can see the cursor. It says resurrection over here, and over here it says resurrection as well. So if we go over here and we modify this cell, right, just for science, so this is what happens. You will I got a death buff now. As you can see, your death will increase, blah blah blah. So that is the modifier. So what are all the possible modifiers, you may ask? So let me just quickly go over it. Obviously we have resurrection, we have the death buff. Well, what this does is when you die, it will increase the skill level of one of your teammates. And let's say you have a full set, it will also increase the skill levels of every single enemy on your team, like every surviving enemy, that is. Somewhat useful. Like the usefulness is dependent upon the unit that you're putting that on, but I digress. So that's one of them. And then I should also mention that when you have a full set of the modifiers on, for example, over here I have 2 sets of resurrection, right? So it's gonna have a better effect than just having one, obviously. So as you can see, it says it's glowing, denoting that I have 2 equipped. So as you can see, when your HP when your remaining HP is above 50%, restore 10% max HP upon taking fatal damage. Triggers once only. So what happens is that when you have 2 of these equipped, it gets better, and when you have all 3 of them equipped, the effect increases basically. Sorry about that. I just had I had a call, so my mind wasn't right on making the video. So yeah. With that being said, so as you can see, the more cells you have, in a nutshell, the better it gets. Let's go over reflex, which is the next one. Reflex is probably the worst modifier we have in the game. Reflect 20% of the damage taken from an attribute that restricts you. I do not see this one used at all. Reflex, I'm not saying it's useless. It can have some use when the DST units are more in the game, maybe. Then because in that case those are factors, those are attributes that restrict you always. So I'm not saying it's completely useless, but it is a niche factor. Modifier, my bad. Next one is disruption. Disruption is when the active skills is cancelled basically. So when you have all 3 of them, it affects 2 enemies. So this is one of those which is recommended to have a full set of. So what in simple terms, let me tell you in simple terms, not by what it says over there. It effectively cancels what the enemy's active skill is. For example, let's say we have a Hide over here, right? So what is Hide supposed to do? His active skill makes your units attack twice, right? So let's say that Hide is disrupted at random, and he gets the team is disrupted, and of the random units, Hide is picked. So what happens then? A black cloud will appear beneath Hide, denoting that he's disrupted. And what will happen next is that when you use him, let's say you were to use him, right? It will also show you a black mark on the card itself, so you know that he's disrupted. So when you use this card, right, he will no longer make your units attack twice. So what will happen is, let's say you use one Hide and two Bright Tokas. Your Hide will cast his skill normally. He will give all the small buffs he gives. Everything will appear normal. But in reality, when Bright Toka attacks, she will only attack once, and then the second card she will attack twice, and then that's it. When in reality, let's say Hide was not disrupted, he would work as intended, and he would make Bright Toka attack a total of 4 times in the entire in your turn. However, if he's disrupted, this will not happen. So you can already tell this is a very, very powerful cell. And with the recent changes to disruption immunity, basically, if we were to go over here, as you can see, this Orochi over here must have a node somewhere. As you can see, when the battle starts become immune to disruption, so it is so powerful that they started giving specific nodes in the character refinements to tackle against the disruption, and they have recently changed that. Now you only get the disrupt immunity if you go first, so kind of redundant now, but it is what it is. So disruption is very powerful. And then we also have the basic stat boost. Oh no, never mind. This is the attack stat boost. This is also good. Usually this is used in the main DPS. So what this does is pretty straightforward. It increases your attack stats by 3% for 2 turns. This also increases by the more you have. So this is one of the ones that you never should run solo. And the only reason why over here it's been ranked solo is because I do not have the other two to make up the full set. So as you can see, it increases from a 3 to a whopping 9, which is a lot of difference, and that lasts for not 1 but 2 turns, which is a default, but from 3 to 9, that's a big difference. And this is on top of all the attack stats that you already have, guys. So this one's pretty good. Usually only used for units that are the main DPS. I will go over where do you use the factors, where do you use which modifier for which unit later on in the video. Next up, we have buff removal. And this one pretty straightforward, removes 1 buff from the enemy at random. This is random, completely random. The buff itself that it removes is also random, so yeah, pretty random. But when you have all 3 of them equipped, there is a very high chance that it will remove a good buff that maybe the opponent needed very desperately. So the more you have of these, the better. When you have all 3 of them, what will happen is that when you use an active skill, it will remove all buffs and stands from 1 random enemy. So this is a very powerful 3 set bonus over here, and the reason why is because this removes stance as well. Now what you might be wondering what stance is. Stance is basically what charm Toka, the green Toka, she puts a charm on one of her allies, and then that ally will basically tank all of the incoming damage. And let's say you cast an active skill with a triple buff removal, and then that stance will be removed, and now that unit will no longer tank. So basically like disruption, but for units that they tank all the damage basically. It won't, but keep in mind this will not affect the units that tank from all lanes. Basically they don't take all the fire to themselves. They don't they basically do not draw fire towards themselves, but rather they just stand there with their shield, and they take a percentage of the total damage. In those scenarios, this will not affect them. And an example with this of this would be the Shinohara Arata, no, the Iwao Arata, one of the Aratas who tanks the prototype one, the Rampage one. He basically tanks for the entire team, and this will not affect him. It will only affect those who take a stance. Another example would be Shu. the free-to-play shoe. He too takes a stance, so if you're running this, it will remove it from him. It's just an example for you guys to understand better. And this one, I think we've already gone over this one. Yeah, the dead buff. And then we have the basic. This is the basic stat boost. So after casting 4 active skills, you gain a bonus 10% bonus basic stats for 1 turn. This is not very useful. I'm not going to lie, because usually if it goes beyond 4 active skills, like 4 casts, it's already decided who's going to win and who's going to lose. So not very useful. Might even be worse than reflex. And I think that pretty much concludes every single modifier we have. We have went over buff removal, disruption, resurrection. Oh wait, we did miss one actually. One of the good ones, which is restriction ignore. Now, restriction ignore. Some of the you might think that what does this mean? Does this mean that you're going to take like you're not going to get the weak points from the attribute that you're weak against? No, that's not what it means. When one thing you often note is that you should this is one of those modifiers which you should never run solo. It's basically useless when you run solo. You need to have all 3 of them, unfortunately. But when you run all of them together as a set of 3, you are immune to the weak effect applied to you, which is a game changer. This is one of the best best modifiers in the game. I'll just quickly go over the best ones: restriction, ignore, disruption, and revival. In my opinion, those 3 are the ones you should strive for. So pretty good. This one, it basically renders you immune to all weak effects. You cannot be stunned. Your units cannot be put to sleep with this modifier on. The only exception is a hard counter to this one is DST Ken himself. Basically the DST unit with this one, they can bypass this one because they will have a weak effect by default. So that is you should note that one. Putting this on a unit like Hide, let's say, doesn't necessarily mean he's always not gonna be weakened. He's still weakened to only DST Ken in the game right now, and of course if we were to get another DST unit, he would be able to break that this modifier as well. So yeah. With that being said, now we have finally gone over all the modifiers. Now let us go over how you were to get the modifiers. So I've already showed you how you get them. You click on modify. You need these cell promoters material. I will go over how you can get them later on. You click on it and then you just modify it. And as you can see, I've got the dead buff. So what happens now? So you don't want to stop there. Do keep in mind, guys, never rank up, never star up any cell in the game. No matter what cell you have, do not star it up. What I mean by star up is that as you can see, this resurrection cell has a 5-star over here. If we were to go over here and we click on star up, as you can see, this one will get a star if we were to use another cell. So no, keep in mind, this does not take food cells. This will take any cell that has been modified. So any UR cell that has been modified, you can modify them and you can use them as food to rank up the cells all the way to 5. However, do not do this for any cell that is not rank 5 or above. Keep that in mind, guys. And the reason why you should never modify or rather star up the cells that are not rank 5 is because this currency to modify the cells is very important, guys. I cannot digress how important it is. It is unbelievably important, so do not waste those on food cells. And the reason why you shouldn't waste them on food cell, you might think that, oh, but I'm supposed to be using these food cells until I can get the rank 5 cells, right? Yes, that is correct. But these are temporary cells. You will be using them temporarily, and you will be using them as food later on for the ability breakthrough. So your investment will essentially be wasted if you rank these up. If you have an abundant of them and you want them to boost you for the time being, go for it. But I wouldn't recommend that. So let's say you have a rank 5 cell. What should you do then? Then just modify whatever worst UR cells you have, modify them, and then you can use them to star the good cells that you have. I'm just using this as an example, but if I were to click OK, it's gonna get started up. One thing of note is that to star them up, you also need another even rarer currency, which is the cell evolution thingamajig. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that, so I'm going to butcher it, but yes, you're gonna need this orb thingy, this cell evolution currency, and this is even more rarer than the cell promoter themselves. So, and that is also one of the reasons why you shouldn't randomly just star up any cells. So that's why. But yeah, with that being said, let's say you get a rank 5 cell later on when you finally have everything as you need. You have all your cells sorted, and you get a rank 5 cell with a bad modifier. Let's see if I have one of those. So as you can see over here, this is a bad modifier. As you can see, I've already told you this is not very useful. So you, in that case, maybe you should hold off on modifying this. Wait, maybe you should hold off on starring them up. There are so many technical jargons like starring the cells up, modifying them, the attributes, the factors. It gets confusing really bad, so that's why I keep misspelling whatever the stuff I'm trying to say here is. But yeah, that is why maybe hold off on starring up cells that which get a bad modifier. But in this case, you might ask, then why have I start up these two? And that is because these ones, on the other hand, you can start them up to use them for the time being, because it's gonna be a very, very long time until you can get rank 5 cells on everyone if you are especially a new player. And the other thing to off note is that these cells can always be put on your second team until they all get good modifiers as well. So this is not a wasted investment, this is a good investment in fact, so you can do that. But let's say your server does not have strongholds, which is the main way to get these cell promoters, then maybe consider holding off to star the bad modifier cells and only star up the cells with the best modifiers. So do that only if you are if you find the resource to be very scarce, which I'm not going to lie, in my alt account I found that these resources to be very rare, especially in the start, until I got to a point where I have to sacrifice the limit crystals in order to get this currency. Yes, you can exchange this, as you can see, for limit crystals, and if you're a new player, don't never do this, don't click on this. But yeah, with that being said, we have gone over the factors, all of them. We have gone over the stars of the cells. We have gone over the cell, how do you modify them. We have gone over all of the ranks of the cells. We have gone over the types of the cells, and we have also gone over the factors of the cells. Now, there is still more to be covered in the cells, which is how do you procure the cells. So the basic cells, the normal UR ones, you can get them just by playing the game. You can get them from anywhere. I'm not even going to get into it. As a new player, if you just play the game, just play the game for 2 days and you'll already find yourself having these cells. From arena, everyday, like login, you just play the game, just do your dailies and you'll have these cells. Also, I'm extremely sorry for the background noise. It is quite noisy at my place. But yeah, so how do you get these ones then? So those ones are where it gets a little tricky. So I'm gonna be going over all the ways you can get the food cells or the ranked cells, right? I should call them ranked cells because you can get any one of them. I've already gone over this in the character activity event video I made, but you should already know you can get one over here. As you can see, obtain one random UR cell with a score of 100 and all factors, all UR factors. So basically it will always give you a ranked cell. Now this doesn't mean that it's gonna be a good one. Now this doesn't mean that it's gonna be a rank 5 cell or above. It is going to be from rank 1 to rank 5. So yeah, do keep that in mind. This doesn't mean that you're always gonna get unlucky. I have gotten rank 5 cells from here many times. It's not that rare, but usually you get a food cell, a bad cell over here. In the starting, those are useful as well, as I've already mentioned. Yeah, so that's one way. Another way, don't buy this. Do not buy this, guys. Do not buy this. Okay. So another way would be if we were to come over here, as you can see, we can get one every single week. And this is also the same thing that applied for that one in the activity event. The same thing applies to this one. It can be from rank 1 to rank 5. So if you get lucky, you'll get a rank 5. If you get unlucky, you'll get a food cell. Either way, you need to buy this out because it's very important. You get a food cell, good. If you don't get a food cell, that's also good. Where else? I think that should be it for these ones. Yep, that is it. That doesn't mean that this is the only place that you're gonna get it. Another place you can get it is from these events. If you go over here, right now there is no cell casket over here, but sometimes for a big event you can get cell caskets over here, and you can even go as far as to select them with the modifiers on them, which will not happen very often. Believe me, that will only happen once or twice a year. So don't be expecting of that, but yes, you can expect normal cell caskets over here. Oh, here it is. So this is not the one I'm talking about. This is in order to get this one, you need to buy your way up. So this is not the one I'm talking about. These are oh yeah, these are high-end cells. This is not the one I'm talking about. The one I'm talking about is gonna be like a random factor casket thingy, the lame one, or it's gonna be one where you can select a rank 5 cell with a factor. That's the one I'm talking about. So you can get that in the events as well. Right now it's not there, but it is there sometimes. The one that I'm talking about where it lets you select the factor, that one is very rare. You're not gonna see that very often. Alright, with that being said, is there any other way you can get the cells? Indeed there is. So there was an event over here, the global thingy something, where this currency was used. Yeah, all server coop war, whatever the hell it was, very awful mode. In that one you can exchange 3 cells. So yeah, those cells not very hard to come by, guys, not gonna lie. Another way is you go to Carnival Exchange. You can also get a casket over here. You do need, these points are very hard to come by, so carefully consider your purchase before going here, but you can get them from over there as well. Yeah, and then the most easiest way, which I've not gone over, is you come over here, right? And then you go to your regular shop, and you might be wondering what do you do over here. Well, every single week you will be getting for straight coins. This is just straight money, like the gold. You can get a full score cell just for coins. So it is physically impossible to miss out. Like you're gonna get them over time. Like at least even if you're a very lazy player, you get one per week. Even then, you're gonna be filling out your main team in no time. So yeah, that's gonna be all the ways you can get the cells. So what about modifying them? So modifying them, you're gonna need this currency. Over here, I don't know why it only shows up 2 ways. The first one is over here. Do not do this, guys. You will run out of these limits crystals very easily, unless you are in a point in the game where you have all of your SSRs fully maxed out, like the free-to-play ones. You're at that point in the game, then yeah, you can consider buying this if you don't have any other source for it. Otherwise, it is not recommended to buy for straight limit crystal, because that is very, very expensive. You can get those from here. You can get them every single carnival from here. As you can see, this I think it only lets you modify 1 cell fully. I think it's 100 in there. I could be wrong on that one. So you can get them from there. You can get them in the limit crystal thingy. Where else can you get them? You can also get them in events, of course. As you can see over here. Yeah, over here, as you can see. Not that I would ever recommend you go for that one, but they're there just as a source. Don't go for this one. Don't go for that one under no circumstance. So yeah, they're also in the character activity event. No, not over here. You go to boss challenge, as you can see over here. Another place where you can get them is over here. Go to exchange. As you can see, they're over here. Not a very rare resource, but consider the fact that you need 500 of them, a whopping 500, to upgrade 1 single cell, and that is why you should never waste that resource, guys. It is a rather rare resource. Now, on the other hand, on the flip side, let's say that you are someone who has a stronghold and you get most of the houses in stronghold. If you don't even know what that is, what I'm talking about, you can ignore this part of the video. If you're someone who has stronghold, then by all means you can do whatever you want with those, right? I've already gone over what you should be doing with those extra resources from stronghold in my ability breakthrough video, as I've already said. You should, if you don't know what I'm talking about, you should I highly recommend you watch that one. I've already gone over everything of the cell procurement one over there. But yeah, that is a niche case. I don't think everyone is going to have a stronghold and they get all the houses, so that is a niche case to begin with. But yeah, those are all the ways you can get the resources for the cell modification, all the ways you can get these cells, all the ways you can get the ranked cells, what you should do with the ranked cells, the food cells, the factors, attributes, everything that works basically. So yeah, pretty much it for this one. Pretty lengthy. Let's see how long we're doing. Never mind. Very good. The reason why I say that is because last time I did this, it took me nearly an hour to get everything out. And you might be wondering then why am I redoing the entire video? And the reason for that is that was so long ago that the cell thingies were not even there. The ranked cells were not even there. They simply used to be cells. Let's say this cell, right? So this cell used to be, it didn't, none of them had any ranking. They just used to be 100 and all red factors. It wouldn't say anything. Since they brought that change, the dynamic of the gear system has changed, and that is why I had to redo the entire thing. Before we exit out of the video and call it a day, there is one more thing that I should go over, and that is the auction house. At the moment there are no cells over here, but I'm not going to switch accounts in the hopes to get one here, because right now I don't think it's going to be there for any account. So in the organization, when you kill the organization boss every week, I think it comes twice or thrice every week. So when you do that, you're going to get cells over here. But guys, if you are a free-to-play player, if you are just starting out, do not buy anything from this auction house. Let's say your org mates, they do not buy the cell. What happens to that cell? That cell goes to the world auction, and now they can be bought by everyone in your server. Let's say no one buys them in your server. What happens then? In that case, they disappear. They just vanish. They go into the abyss. So yeah. Usually over here, you will get a modified cell. Do not go for that modified cell. That is a useless cell. Under no circumstance are you to buy that cell. Even if you're a whale, do not buy that cell, because that cell is usually going to be rank 3, and that is useless. So don't go for that. If you're at that point where you need the modifiers, you shouldn't need the modifier on a low ranked cell. That's not going to help you. So don't go for that one. And there are going to be rank 5 unmodified cells. They're going to be random factors. No, not random factors. Random attributes. They're going to have set factors. Keep that in mind. Those are going to be good cells. Should you buy them? Absolutely not. The reason why is because you would be buying them only to gamble for the modifiers, and I would not recommend anyone to do that. No matter at what point they are in the game, do not do that. And the reason why is because at this point in the game, you have plenty of sources to get cells. So I do not think it is necessary to waste your gems over here, unless you are a whale. If you are a whale, or let's say you are a stronghold, or you're very into the game, you're a very late game player. Yeah, you can do that then. Only if you want to min-max the modifiers. If you were to ask me for my personal preference, I have bought the cells from the auction, not the ones that are modified. I've never bought those ones because those ones are always trash. I'm not talking about the modifiers. Of course, they can have good modifiers like a resurrection cell, but if it's like a rank 3 cell, that there's no point in buying them, right? So what I have bought the rank 5 ones before, and that was like very long ago when I desperately needed the cells before the update even came where the cell ranking was showed. I had to buy them then because at that point in the game there was no other way to get them. So yeah, I didn't waste that much gems on it, but I did waste a few here and there. But I would not recommend any person who watches my videos to buy the cells from the auction house. Unfortunately, because you might be wondering, for someone who's not seen the auction ever, if you've not seen the prices, they are atrocious. It costs 4k cells to get a unmodified rank 5 cell. It is not worth it in any scenario. 4k gems is a 10 pull in the normal banner, 2k more, and it's a full pull in the carnival. Like, it doesn't make sense. There's no world where that makes sense. And where it gets like even worse is when you look at the cell that is modified. It costs straight up 6k, and that's like an entire carnival pull, like 10 pull, entire carnival 10 pull, in like for a stupid cell. Makes no sense. So yeah, that's all for the auction. We have gone over everything, guys. I don't think I need to beat the horse anymore at this point. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this one. See you in the next one.